So you're new to Sandrock and need some early game tips on how to get started. Well, I've played this game a lot, I've scoured the internet for all the best tips and tricks, and I've been preparing for my next playthrough, where I'll be trying to 100% the game. So it's safe to say I know the best ways to get started, and I'll be sharing them with you today in the ultimate beginner's guide for my time at Sandrock. Before we get into the gameplay, the first thing you should know is that once you've made your builder in the character creator, you won't be able to change your appearance until you've progressed a bit further into the game. And you can't change your skin color, facial features, or eye color once you're playing, so don't pick anything crazy that you might regret. Your first week of gameplay will be tutorial heavy, teaching you how to navigate, gather resources, craft items, build things. It's quite user-friendly and informative, but there's so much information to take in that you might miss a few things. One of these things is how to identify the different types of missions, which is important because you'll need this to eventually finish the game. Main missions are orange and will never go away, no matter how long you have them. Side missions are blue and may go away if they're time sensitive or need to happen during certain conditions. And core missions are green, optional tasks taken at the Commerce Guild to earn relationship points, money, experience, and workshop reputation. If it's a new mission, it will have an exclamation mark. If it's a mission continuation, it will have a question mark. And if it's the end of a mission, it will have a tick. I prefer to take on every mission as soon as I see it on my map, so I don't lose out on any timed storylines. And then I'll pin the 2 missions I want to focus on most, but this does clutter the missions menu and can feel overwhelming when you have lots to do. Just remember, your goal should be to enjoy completing the game at your own pace, however that looks to you. Don't panic over missions you've had for a long time or doing things in the perfect order. You will get everything done eventually. When it comes to actual mechanics, the most important thing to be keeping track of for the first week is your stamina. The stamina bar at the bottom of your screen goes down as you gather resources, but there are a few ways to get it back. The best way is by eating at the saloon. The more you pay, the more stamina you get, but this can get expensive. You can also buy some meat buns whilst you're there for an on-the-go stamina boost, or just sit in a chair and get your stamina back slowly whilst you enjoy the scenery. Eventually, you'll want to build a drying rack to make jerky with shop-bought salt or soy sauce and sandfish or sandakudas. But the best food by far is the steak surprise, which is a later game dish which gives you 11% of your stamina back. As you level up, you'll receive skill points in different proficiencies, and you can spend these points on boosting your maximum stamina and stamina regeneration, as well as reducing the amount of stamina you use. Even befriending neighbors can give you buffs in not just stamina, but other ways too, so make sure you stick around for the best ways to level up friendship points. Choosing to wear clothes that add to your base stamina is also very helpful, and placing items in your home which boost your stamina is great too, but this is limited by your yard size, which you'll need to increase throughout the game. Most important of all, remember to use all of your stamina before sleeping because you will always need more resources, and your future self will thank you. You're also going to need to get used to the workshop chores grind, but there are a couple of things that make gathering and crafting a lot easier. Using your handbook to plan which machines to build based on the resources they will give you is very helpful, and you can even find out where to get the resources needed to make them by hovering over each one, or you can just cheat and use the wiki to point you in the right direction. When you use your workbench, the items you need to make for your missions will automatically pop up, but you can also filter to see all other recipes instead. You can see the number of each item you already have by the storage box symbol, so keep this in mind when you're crafting new things and you're low on resources. Always having your machines processing until you have about 15 to 20 of each processed item and 100 of each ingot means you'll fly through missions a lot faster, and restocking items won't be such a big rush when you eventually use them. You should also always have something on the go at the research center, focusing first on the processor, grinder, and intermediate work table before researching the civil recycler, civil furnace, civil grinder, and civil processor. It could also help to research the refiner and to improve your old machine's quality before upgrading them, because it means using less rare ores, it increases the size of your production queue, and it uses less resources for better results than just making a new machine. If the grind is still a bit too grindy, there are a couple of ways to make things easier depending on your playstyle. Changing the speed of your days is a great quality of life adjustment for improving your playthrough, and it can also be used in a bit of an exploity way. Shortening the length of your day speeds up the time it takes to process items, or you could choose to make days longer if you want to socialize with a lot of people in one day. But if playing with time isn't your thing and you just want to be getting even more items processed as early as day one, you should just build an extra one of each machine you're asked to make, at least for the recycler and furnace. This way, you can have 2 different items processing at the same time, and completing your objectives will be twice as fast, but you'll also be doubling your water consumption. Getting enough water to sustain your workshop is no joke, but there are ways to get more. Buying it from Burgess's shop is expensive, so you'll want to use dew to create your own, something you can do manually by breaking bushes. The dew collectors are okay once you've put skill points into making them better, but you'll need to build a few for a sufficient dew farm, and you don't get as much experience from using them as you do by manually getting it from bushes. The best option is to befriend and adopt pets, so you can send them out to get water for you, but this takes a lot of time and effort. The cats are the easiest to befriend because they love opals and they like fish, 2 very early game resources to get. Pets will also bring back worms and scorpions, which can be used to fish, and they'll catch extra fish for you if you bring them along on your fishing trips. But if you aren't patient enough to befriend them, the little gecko DLC gives you a starter pet, or you can just catch your own with the Monster Whisperer DLC instead. If all else fails and you just can't keep up with filling your water tank, picking up unused machines will save on water used. And don't worry, eventually water will only be needed for farming after you have the fire generator researched, built, and placed. Quick subscriber checkpoint before we continue. I'm currently trying to reach 1,000 subscribers and only 3.3% of my viewers are subscribed to my channel, which shot up from the last video, so thank you if you're one of my new subscribers. If you'd like to help me make my dreams come true, I'd appreciate it a lot if you'd subscribe to my channel. I'll be live streaming a full My Time at Sandrock playthrough starting on Sunday the 1st of June, and I make videos like this as often as I can, so I'm sure you'll enjoy what's to come next. But for now, it's time for an intervention. I know you like to steal from your neighbors and hoard resources in random chests around your yard, but what if I told you there's a better way? Numbering and alphabetizing chests at the top of your screen will help you flick between them effortlessly, and you can eventually buy storage upgrades from the mysterious man when he visits. There's also a skill to make prices for inventory slots a lot cheaper, so holding off on buying slots too early will save you money in the long run. And if your memory is as bad as mine, there are ways to make remembering or replaying events throughout the game a lot easier, like using the calendar to set reminders for meetings, medical trials, and story nights, which will open up possibilities to learn more backstories about individual characters and the world in general. But big events will always pop up in the top center of your screen, and in general, you can just check the time, day, and month in the bottom right of your screen if you trust your own time management. I would highly recommend making good use of your save slots by saving at key moments throughout the story, so you can replay the best bits, romance different characters, or just try out different dialogue options. And speaking of romance, socializing with your neighbors is definitely something to prioritize if you want the perks of their friendship as early as possible. Even just introducing yourself to people at the start of the game is great for getting gifts, which you can use or sell for extra money. Befriending shop owners will give you discounts, so Jan, Owen, Burgess, and Arvio should definitely be on your radar. You can talk to them daily, give them liked gifts, play critters with them, or just beat them up, which is very satisfying if you're a particularly disgruntled employee of a certain mopstick. Heidi and Trudy are also great friends for upgrading your workshop, and you can check the social menu to find other NPCs with stat boosts you're interested in, like stamina, health, the list goes on. I'd also recommend setting the romanceable characters to automatic outfitting whilst you're in there for a bit of variety whenever you see them. This is especially good when you have the clothing DLCs if you don't mind seeing them walk around in formal wear or swimwear. I know that's a bonus for some of you. You can also get a friendship boost as well as stat boosts by placing relics in your yard which are found in the ruins and restored at the museum. Giving buddies gifts before playdates and during them at the Oasis and Saloon is also great for relationship points and gives you free stamina too, by the way. And using playdate gift spots to farm extra extra relationship points on your buddy's birthday or during other big events is absolutely insane for building relationships, especially if your friendship levels up during a playdate, because then you can just do it all over again. You can even donate goals at the Church of Light to be better friends with the members there, which brings us to the best ways to make money. And we'll start with the undisputed winner, completing commissions. Not only do you get the benefits I mentioned earlier, but you can even win prizes for being among the top 3 workshops. So if you work hard to achieve this in your first month, you'll have a nice bonus to look forward to. You can get extra benefits for commissions too if you spend your skill points wisely, including an extra commission per day, more money for same-day deliveries, and more money for higher quality items, something you can do easily with the refiner. Eventually, you can even make your own commission board to keep in your yard so you don't have to stop at the Commerce Guild every morning. And whenever there are waiting periods between main missions, you should gather and process extra resources and upgrade your equipment, machines, or workshop. You can even spend time exploring and looking for treasure. Some are in buildings, on rooftops, or hidden in unexpected places. They're great for early game food, gift, weapons, but some will need a feather duster to dig them up before you can open them. But if commissions and treasure aren't enough to fund your lifestyle, you can try selling early game items like stone troughs, grinding stones, or any other easily crafted item for a small boost, but don't expect to make a fortune doing it. When you eventually get them, sulfur nodes can be really good money, but you won't have access to these for a while. You're better off politely asking the Yakima around your workshop for their horns to sell, or just setting up a ranch to get these passively is fantastic if you can afford it. Even fishing can become relatively profitable, and slowfish can even be caught without food if you can predict their pathing. Just using sandfish for stamina food alone will save you a lot of money, and refining an advanced sandfish trap will help you catch a lot more regular, large, and kingfish with its bigger radius. But enough about money. There's threats to face and fighting to be done, so you need some tips on how to stay safe too. Things are going to get more and more dangerous as the game progresses, which you'll see shortly into your playthrough when you have your first sandstorm. These sandstorms will bring about dangerous animals, damage your machines, blow away processed items or drops, and dry up your dew collectors, so you'll want to get sand walls as soon as they're available. The sand gear is also very good for making sure you can move around without any debuffs. And speaking of equipment, the tailor shop has some good early game clothing items which you can purchase, and the refiner will become your best friend when it comes to improving equipment to have the best stats possible. The damage reflection stat is really good, especially on multiple pieces of armor, and you should be leveling up your combat experience by taking on mobs and sparring with neighbors. When it comes to slaying stronger enemies, your stats will gradually increase as you level up, which you can grow fastest by mining the terrain in the ruins. You can check your character menu to see your levels, stats, buffs, and equipment, which will help you figure out how much XP you need to level up, which stats you're lacking in, what buffs you have from consumables, and which equipment you want to refine. It's also how you choose what you'd like to wear, but that's a different kind of slaying. You'll earn skill points as you level up your combat, gathering, socializing, and workshop proficiencies. Picking skills which benefit you in each of these sections is important, but don't stress too much on picking the right thing. You can visit the clinic to reset your points for 10 goals each, and you can eventually earn enough experience to purchase any skills you want. Definitely focus on one melee weapon to level up first, and if you find yourself getting hit a lot, invest in the health and healing skills too. The strong attack knowledge is also excellent for all weapon types. As soon as you have access to guns, you'll want to stock up on ammo, and you should also be stocking up on strong medicine before big fights. For some missions, you'll see that it's advised to be a certain level before you do it. You don't have to listen to this and can go in earlier if you're confident, or you can hold off until you're a couple of levels ahead if you want to make sure you're extra strong for the fight. Bringing someone on a playdate is also a good way of getting some backup when you're going into dangerous areas, but don't be surprised if they jump into fights before you're ready. If you'd like to see these tips in action, make sure you stop by my first ever stream on Sunday the 1st of June at 2 PM EST. Other time zones are on the screen too. We'll be starting a brand new My Time at Sandrock playthrough, and I need your help deciding who we'll be marrying. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.